It's really good to be here and to see you all here. It's going to be hard to follow such a fantastic talk, but I'll do my best. So I'm here to talk to you about key concepts around well-being economy. I'll start with what people want. People want to thrive, not just survive. And that's what governments want too. They want vibrant economies, non-violent societies, well-educated citizens, and resilient and sustainable environments. But we see these long-standing trends in inequalities across the European region. So this is data from a few years ago, which shows that between the lowest 20% by income and the highest 20% by income, there are long-standing differences in health outcomes and the experiences of people in their daily lives. So the lowest 20% have twice the amount of illness limiting their daily life, twice as much poor self-reported health. You can see that things like income are big determinants of well-being. And there are many well-being risks across the region. Inadequate access to healthcare services that are of good quality and affordable, income insecurity, inadequate social protection, poor quality, unsafe or unaffordable housing, fuel, food, poor quality education, lack of trust, and job insecurity or unemployment. So these are some of the things we call the conditions that are required for people to thrive and live in dignity. And what we've been talking about in our office and as part of our work on well-being economies are these three big challenges that sit behind what we see as the move towards well-being economies. So economic development models that focus on profit over people, the inequitable distribution of opportunities and resources, and this underestimation of the importance of public services while we're not deriving enough value from private assets. So the well-being economy, how do we talk about it? What is it? Well, one simple sentence we've been using is this. It's one where public and private investment, spending, resources are all used to improve human, societal, economic, and planetary well-being that can be enjoyed by all. Let's look at that a little bit more. So we see these four principles in a lot of places that are taking a well-being economy approach. So they have at their core equity, inclusion, sustainability, this idea of well-being for all people today and future generations, as well as the planet. And these four principles around the outside, so recognizing that the solutions lie with all these different sectors of society, including government, the population, the private sector, and the need for dialogue between all of these. And this forum has been a fantastic example of that already. It's really been a privilege to be here and see the conversations and the learning that's emerging from that sort of dialogue. Investing and producing these essential well-being capitals, so human, social, economic, and planetary well-being, some of the things that my colleagues from the OECD were talking about yesterday and which I'll come to in my next slide. Creating these conditions for people to lead healthy lives. So I talked about the well-being risks and you know, on the flip side of those, ensuring people have decent homes, decent work, have good, high-quality and affordable healthcare services. These things enable people to thrive and contribute, and we might call them public health goods and policies. Finally, optimizing the co-benefits, so designing our policies to have these multiple returns across all of these well-being capitals. So this is how we're seeing the well-being capitals. On the top left, you have planetary well-being, good quality air, water, good living environments, sustainable public transport, active travel, safe green spaces that people can enjoy, a stable climate and good biodiversity, along with circular economy and green technology. So there are many domains here. In terms of human well-being, healthy life expectancy, mental health, the ability to carry out your daily activities, free from illness, universal health coverage, quality non-discriminatory health and social care that works for everyone, universal policies for housing, food, and fuel security, early childhood development, lifelong learning and literacy, and safe, orderly, and regular migration. In terms of economic well-being, we have living wages, universal social protection through the life course, decent, psychologically safe work, gender-responsive employment, social dialogue and collective bargaining, and economic cohesion and balanced development across regions. And then finally, on social well-being, the first speaker was talking about the importance of trust. So this is where issues like living in safety, this sense of belonging and mattering that was discussed yesterday, social cohesion, trust in others and institutions, this ability to influence politics or agency, public spending on communities, and participation in volunteering. So this is how we are seeing these human well-being capitals, human, social, economic, and planetary, with at the center policy and governance that delivers all of them. But where is health in all of this? So we see 2 or 3 key risks and areas of focus. So the first risk is that the health sector continues its business as usual, doesn't realize its full potential. So what we need to do there is that we need to transform health systems to deliver equitable human, social, planetary, and economic well-being. The second risk is that we continue to undervalue, underestimate, and under-provision health services, public health policies, and a healthy population, while health is seen as this cost or expense. So we need to make sure that well-being and health equity are integrated into fiscal and economic policy. Yesterday, the Minister of Finance talked about the well-being priorities in the fiscal strategy. So this is already taking place in Iceland. And you're already shifting the purpose and understanding of how the economy works and what it works for. But this is a little bit of the background. And there's a strong role for the health sector in taking this forward. So as a driver of well-being economies, whether it's contributing to that healthy population, promoting mental health in everyday settings, engaging the public in service design, joining up health services, addressing those social, environmental, and economic needs, or whether it's the health sector as a co-creator and partner. So the health sector working with business, education, energy, labor, and these other sectors. To give you one example, the health justice partnerships is a case where the health sector has joined up with legal support to give these integrated services for people who need support from lawyers effectively. And what you see is that people who have debt, who have insecure housing, have their life circumstances improved, as well as better mental well-being. Now, there are many different tools and instruments that are being used to promote well-being economies. And here is a collection of some of them, from the well-being indicator frameworks and surveys that have already been discussed here, to laws and regulations like the Wales Wellbeing of Future Generations Act, investment frameworks and approaches to measure the social return on investment, such as environmental social governance frameworks and the analysis of the impacts of the health economy, new taxes, new fiscal instruments, from social bonds and debt swaps all the way through to windfall taxes and other such taxes, well-being budgets and gender budgeting, political bodies, so whether it's cross-party committees, steering groups, councils, using behavioral and cultural insights, shaping business through incentives, political mandates like future generations commissioners, ministerial portfolios for well-being, public dialogue, and innovation. So there are many different approaches. What about local government in all of this? So we've heard a little bit today about the role that local government plays already in Iceland. And these are some of the levers that we see local government using across the region. So spatial planning, shaping what types of business, what types of community environment is around people. Spending and local investment. Where does local government put its money? What types of activities? How does it do that? We'll come back to that in a moment. Regulation and licensing. Which types of business are given licenses to operate? Employment programs and local hiring. How does local government support people into decent jobs? How does local government collaborate between these different departments to make better sense at a local level of the different priorities around people's well-being. Education and skills, and making sure people are equipped for that lifetime of decent work and decent living. Distributional impact assessments, including health equity impact assessments. How does local government assess the impact of its decisions on local people across the income distribution? And participation and co-creation. How do we make sure that people have a voice in the decisions that matter to them? So here are 3 really tangible case studies that I wanted to share with you today. The first is from Utrecht in the Netherlands, where all public tenders over 100,000 euros have to spend 5% of their contract on social value, whether that's education or employment for people who aren't in the labor market. This is really contributing to Utrecht's procurement policy. In the UK, in a place called West Belfast, there was a health employment partnership which tried to get people who are economically inactive and low-paid workers progressing into work and up in work. And as a result, unemployed people found jobs. Lower-paid staff were promoted. There were savings on unemployment benefits. Third example, community wealth building in Preston, still in the UK. Changes in public procurement promoted decent employment and supported local supply chains. They found reduced prescribing of antidepressants and reduced prevalence of depression, an increase in life satisfaction of 9%, and an 11% increase in median wages. I'm going to leave you with a set of questions. So these are things that colleagues from local authorities can ask themselves and ask their colleagues. What percentage of your workforce is hired locally? Are you hiring people in a way that benefits your local community? Are you engaging human resources in thinking around your role as an anchor institution, as an institution grounded in your place with a long-term ability to support and shape that place for the public good? What percentage of the procurement spend goes to local business or stays within the region? How are local businesses supported in the supply chain? How are procurement officers engaged? And how many local people are the suppliers employing? It's been a whistle-stop tour of some key concepts in well-being economy. It's been hard to add to all of the fantastic presentations and dialogues that we've had already today. But I hope that I've helped make this a little bit more tangible and real. How can we take this forward at the next level? And I really look forward to progressing on this journey with you. Thank you.